keep it to a minute. Let's see.
We are recording.
All right. Okay, it's what time is it? It's
5:04.
5:04 on the 6th. We are in our executive committee meeting. We are now currently going to go through our agenda and identify various things for our agenda of next week. So looks like we're all here. I don't see any attendees. So I'll just, without objection, I'll say that all four of us from the executive committee are here. General public comment, anyone for general public comment at this time? Okay, I see no hands raised and there are no attendees, so we'll move on. Item number 3, agenda items for September board meeting. We will be approving the August 8th and August 16th board meetings. And we'll be approving the MER for August.
We have that, so it will be out of committee, Vic, and so will the budget.
Okay.
And the budget, good. Digital communication policy related to items, account administration, Facebook, Twitter. We don't have anything I have to say on that, unless someone else may have something to say.
Well,
Vic and I both attended the training for it.
Oh, okay, cool. You guys want to talk about it?
Well, I put that on there as a possible because there are certain things in the policy, like we have to officially assign, and it has to be via a board action, like account administrators. And actually the account administrators may not have to, but I think it does.
I think it does, Vic. The way that they talk, you have to list like who's running the Zoom account,
right,
who's running the Facebook account, who are the administrators of your Facebook account, and it has to be approved by the board.
And we also have to set up an account administrator email address. We can't do it via individual, personal email addresses, which is what we're currently doing, at least with the videos of the meetings, because this policy didn't exist and we just went forward and started posting them.
I think I don't know, Chris can maybe vouch on this, but I think that's what's done with the Facebook and the Instagram accounts.
Well, hang on, and I've already asked about how they are going to handle that, and whether we can grandfather it or what, if there's some way to move the videos from my personal channel to a centralized account administrator email account channel, and they're still looking into that. They have not, they don't know what to do with that yet. But there are things like that I don't know if we want to do it at this meeting, this upcoming meeting, or figure out the details of who's running what social media accounts and things like that, and do it at the October meeting.
Right, because they said it's being implemented, the digital policy, as of October 4th.
Right, but they say, yes, October 4th is when it becomes effective, but they suggested working on this stuff ahead of time so we're ready when it becomes effective.
So we may want to do this, if not this meeting, we're really like dragging along next meeting because the policy will be in place next meeting. But the other thing too that I'm concerned about, the other thing that I'm concerned about that they said at this digital communications training meeting is, so my personal Facebook and other people that are on the board's personal Facebook, you have to be careful about anything, posting anything or engaging in anything that has to do with something that the board is going to weigh in on.
Not only posting, but they went as far and I looked
Commenting also,
through the policy.
even so much as
And there's
liking or
nothing-
not liking something.
Even I went through the policy and there is nothing in it about what they said. If you click the like emoji or something like that on an item, then, and it's coming up before the board, then according to them, you have to recuse yourself. And there's nothing in the policy that states anything about clicking on any emojis or, you know,
Yeah,
liking.
I didn't see that either when I printed it out.
So,
Excuse me, I printed it out and I didn't see that either.
yeah, so
They were
that-
like adamant about how if you engaged or liked or anything like that, anything that was posted that was going to come up before the board or
Right.
posted it on your own Facebook, that it's a Brown Act thing. And so you would have to allow public comment on your Facebook page, as well as you have a Brown Act violation if it's coming before your board and all of this. And I'm like going, oh my God.
oh yeah, there were a lot of people who did not like when they said that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are very, that we heard on the bonk side that are not happy with this
Well, it's an effective social media ban. You know,
Pretty
It's
much.
basically, yeah, I mean, and because anything could come before the board, and you know, I think it comes down to when they start and how they start enforcing that. But the potential is, you know, anything that you comment on,
Oh, Chris, you're kind of fading in
I
and
don't
out.
know. It seems like, oh, yeah, it just seems like it's another one of those things that's intended to make their jobs easier, but it kind of precludes us from doing ours at all.
Well, to me, I mean, even the part about could come before the board is not in the policy. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. Anything could come before the board, but I think the key is whether it is already on the agenda to come before the board, like at the next meeting.
Right.
Because you could click on a like or something now, and then a year from now,
It's a
it could
board.
come before the board. So I don't think that's realistic at all. So
I
I don't
agree.
think, I think you have to, I
And-
think you have to put some reason in here. Of course, we understand that they don't necessarily have to. but-
Right. And one of the things that was brought up that several people had issues with and brought up at the training was that city council isn't hold to the same digital policy. You see them engaging in, you know, endorsing
Oh.
things and all kinds of stuff all over Facebook and social media for city officials that are paid. But neighborhood council, they're making all these rules that we can't do, and we're volunteers, and you know, they don't oversee personal Facebook pages of other city officials that
Well-
violate this stuff all the time.
If I can just share an observation, it seems like there's a lot of conversation in and around this area, and I don't think it's ready for us to vote on it without both of you and others weighing in on it so that we could either approve it or whatever it is that they're looking
Well-
to do. But if I can just finish this by saying, do we have the ability to, at the very least, vote in an administrator?
That I was about to say, it's not a matter of whether we're approving the policy. The policy is
Right.
there. So
Yeah,
it's not like we put it before the board and say, do we like this policy or not? We've already done that and we don't. But yeah,
We're
that's what I was
saying
saying.
we have to do it.
If we can get, and I think between probably Christina, Chris, and I think we're probably the three that have control over, stuff. If we can get the list of the different social media channels, be it YouTube, Nextdoor, Facebook, whatever, and who is control, who basically has control over those, who is the administrator for each of those, I think we can at least come up with that list before the next meeting and be
Yeah.
able to do that part. Coming up
Yeah,
with
it's
an
actually-
account administrator email address. I don't know if we already have an email address that we use that's more of a central one than like my personal one for the YouTube. If we do, we could probably just say that's the account administrator one. If we don't, then we can come up with something. My first thought was something like admin.nwspnc. If we don't already have one that we can use, because we want to keep it at a minimum as far as the number of addresses.
Yeah.
Chris, is there one? Or is it just your own email?
There's already, I think I might have created it for Instagram, but there is a NWSPNC@gmail.com that I think we should probably use. Neutralize all those.
Okay. And then part of the policy also is the login information for, any of these accounts is to go to the president and vice president at least. So I think that's basically so as to not have a single point of failure,
Right. I think it's they say president, vice president, and then all account administrators should have the password. So that way it's never one person taking it with them if they leave the board.
Well, that's a whole issue in itself. When any account administrator leaves the board, then we have to change the password.
Right.
Or rather, if they not leave the board, but if they cease to be the account administrator for whatever they were administering.
So let me ask, is this something that we need to spend more time on and really think about it or gather information so that we can and maybe have a special meeting?
I think we can, like I said, I think we can do some of it by the, like I said, between Chris, Christina, and me, I think we can do the account administrator part. Not necessarily the account administrator email, unless that's an easy thing to do. But we should be able to at least figure out who has, who's administering what accounts.
Yeah.
Is this something we should put on the next week's agenda?
Well, that's why I had it here, because I think at least some of it we should do as soon as we can. And I think if we can get the list of the accounts and the administrators, we can at least do that. Other parts we may need to
But
discuss.
Chris said there is an email for the board, that there is an email that was set up, Chris said. So
Yeah,
maybe,
well, I think I can't remember if I did it for Instagram or well, I think it was when I got the Instagram from Jolene. I set that up because we had this problem that is the login information kind of got lost. So I just created a generic Gmail account to do all that. So it would probably work considering.
And it is a Gmail account?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll help on the YouTube side too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was thinking.
So,
But
yeah,
it's a pretty short list, actually. It's just it's
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
and next door.
Nextdoor, I don't really know about. I don't use it, but I can't remember. I can log in and see. I can't remember having used that as Northwest. I have my own personal, but I don't think I've ever put anything on there from
Yeah,
the board. So I'll
I think Christina has that information.
okay.
Yeah, Christina has next door, I think.
Okay, so let's go ahead. I will say, I feel that there's some research to be done. Sounds like both Vic and Chris will research it or get the information along with with Christina, and we'll address it at our next meeting to see if we can get at least this part out of the way.
Yeah, I would say we should put it on the agenda, and then if for some reason we can't get to it, then we just skip it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
because there's no way that we have any choice of not doing this or doing this, because they told us that October 4th, this policy goes in, and there's 1 year of doing it, and then they'll come back to it and see and review what the problems were, but you have to do it as of October 4th.
And,
I'm
and
like-
that's government speak for saying, just consider it
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
happen.
like any of these things, the threat and the deadlines are one thing. Any actual enforcement or follow through is, well, we already know what that looks like. So,
Yeah.
we'll do our best to have it done by then.
And many neighborhood councils opposed this, and they still implemented it.
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of people on the training who were very, very much against it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Come on.
there was something else underneath,
Yeah, hang-
it, but let me just say that I've been able to confirm, thank you very much, Melanie, that we will not have a presentation this month. And I know many of you are saddened by that, but just get over your sadness and let's move on.
Well, on that note, well, hang on a minute here. Okay, one quick thing before we get to that is when we at our meetings, we need to make sure that we tell the attendees, the stakeholders, during public comment in particular, to state their first and last name,
Yeah,
so that we can get that recorded. I know we can't require them to, but we can at least request them to. And if
Right.
they choose not to, that's the way it goes. The other thing is, since we aren't going to have a presentation from somebody else, now that I have been able to log into the Cornerstone training platform and go through the instructions that Dunn have provided to get training done, since you don't get automated notices saying you need to do your training, I was thinking I could do a quick, I'm hoping not more than 10-minute tutorial on how to, get to the training, how to check and see what your training status is on that webpage, how to log in, how to see when your training or when you last took your training within the platform, and how to get to the point where you can actually retake it and stuff like that. So everybody, including
I think that's
somebody on this call, will know how to renew their training, because we have several people who are coming up on expiring one or more. Some people already have. And the big one is the code of conduct, because if the code of conduct is expired, you can't do anything. You aren't even counted for the purpose of a quorum. It's like you never even attended. So
Yeah.
I think this would be a good time to do that, especially since our new bylaws just took effect, which have that 60-day time frame on renewing any expired training.
okay. I'm
So
good with that. If you all are.
I already put that on the draft.
Well, thank you for reading our minds. Oh, well, thank you for making up our minds.
Yeah, well, you don't have to,
No, that's all
also,
good.
it's important to emphasize to people that, the ramifications of your training or the 60-day window of, you can still vote on things if you haven't done your ethics. but you can't vote on funding, but that code of conduct thing, you can be removed from the board if you haven't done it within 60 days.
Yeah,
And
that Dunn will do that.
And Dunn does that, not us, Dunn.
Yeah.
So it's important to emphasize that to people too.
Right.
Because there are two people that are coming up on their code of conduct that even at this board meeting, if they don't do it, they can't vote, do nothing. And become, part of the quorum because they have not done it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's even more than just not voting on funding items. They're not even counted as attending the meeting.
Right. Yeah, because I think
Essentially,
Gwen, Kelly's in that room and so is Gwen.
yeah, Kelly is good until the day of the meeting. Gwen is good until I think 2 days later.
Okay. And wasn't there somebody the day of the meeting, before the meeting?
No, the day of the meeting is Kelly. Before the meeting.
Before the meeting, it's Alec, I think.
Well, yeah, Alec is already done, but we need to find out if he's even still, still participating, because his picture is off the board webpage, and we're looking for a new, youth appointee, but I think he is still allowed to continue until a new one is appointed. So I don't know if he is, we need to find out for sure whether he is still actively participating. Because if he isn't, then his training being expired really doesn't matter, because he's not, he's gone anyway.
Because is he up at college now or something?
Well,
Yeah,
he checked in, but I don't know if he's actually there yet.
yeah, he's up there.
He is there, and I believe he's 18 now, which means that he would be disqualified for the youth seat anyway.
Well, but I believe for the youth seat, I think Adrianita was in the same kind of situation.
Until it was filled, she could stay.
Until it's filled. She did, and he can still act as the youth rep, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But we can verify that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Now, the other part of the digital communications is I don't believe they require it, but they recommend that there be a standing item on the agenda for digital communications involving things like statistics of, engagement percentage and stuff like that. I don't know if we want to do that or not, but at this point, I don't know that it's worth putting on the agenda for the September meeting. I think that's one of those things we should probably discuss in more detail for the October meeting.
I think so. I agree. Our meetings go long enough to add more crap to it. And if we could convey that information, I'm just going to say it, if we can convey that information in another manner, like some type of,
What if I scanned in the digital communications policy and sent it to everybody?
Why scan it when it's already given to us electronically?
I printed it, so I'm just, well,
what I was going to do, I was going to wait until we decided whether we were going to put this on the agenda. I was going to send it with the agenda, or even before,
I think by itself, and just say everybody needs to be ready to implement this policy
as a supporting document, but I could send it individually to everybody too. But yeah, we can do that both ways, just to make sure that it's out there, and nobody can complain that they didn't see it because they didn't look well enough at the supporting documentation. And then, yeah, that's all on the digital communication part that I had.
And by the way, on the previous piece, is that going to be on the consent calendar?
You mean the digital communications part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the next question I had, is where do you want to put that? I temporarily at least put it under motions.
I think it's
I- We
consent.
can put it under consent calendar because for the account administration part, I don't really think there'd be much of a discussion.
Yeah, I agree too.
Oh, in fact, I already put that there too.
Okay.
I was too smart for my own good.
I'm so happy that you are too smart for all of us. So let's see. So yeah, we'll do that as a under presentations that review.
Yeah, I didn't put the presentation heading. I just said tutorial.
So I got a question for you, Ray.
Ma'am?
My person, my alternate for CPAB was supposed to do a report and I've seen no report yet.
Okay, I was gonna kind of hit on that, not to pick on anyone in specific, but a gentle reminder with very gentle, hard-hitting words.
Yeah,
Turn in
Gentle,
your report-
hard-hitting words.
turn in your reports by, Vic, whatever makes sense to get it on the agenda, which I think you like Thursday, right? By
Right.
noon or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it out there, that everybody, including the liaison, homelessness liaison.
Yeah, she's usually pretty good at getting it out there. I haven't checked recently, so I don't know if it's there now, but yeah, I will send it out to the the committee chairs and liaisons.
Right, and alternates in this particular case.
Well, okay, yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, because CPAP, usually I don't send it for the CPAP report.
yeah. Okay.
And the other thing that's on there,
Bylaws.
yeah, there's not anything that we need to do to really officially approve or adopt or anything, even though Dunn basically said you can put it on your agenda to adopt if you want. Well, we don't really have a choice. So I don't know that we need to officially adopt it, but it might be worth going through and mentioning what didn't get approved by Dunn that we submitted. Because they
Well-
did not approve everything as written.
Yeah.
But if nothing, even if we don't do that, we can at least say they're in effect, they're posted on our webpage. We could even do the same as with the digital communication policy. We can email it out to, each individual board member, as well as, well, it's already on the webpage. I don't know that we need to send it as a supporting document, but we could.
I think sending it out to everybody so that they have it. And people would not be able to have that wiggle room that I didn't get it or I didn't read it. Well. oh
Well, they can still say they didn't read
They
it.
can still say that.
That's true, but it's not gonna
It
be
was
because
provided to
they
them.
didn't get a chance to see it before the meeting. It's because of their own time management. So let's do it that way.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we have to think about?
That's all as far as agenda items that I know of. Except for one thing that came after the executive committee agenda was done, is a letter from Planning and Land Use about the self-storage facility on Miraflores.
Right, okay,
Nobody else has submitted anything
Mm-mm.
to be put on the agenda.
okay. Well, they have until Wednesday, right? I mean, I'm sorry,
Right.
Thursday.
Well, I like to send it Thursday around noon. So
Well,
really,
whatever you would like. Wednesday?
well, they should know already. So do I really need to remind them?
So Ray,
You know what? I think we could talk a little bit about, here's a general reminder, but this may not be on the agenda, or you may not be getting reminders all the time. This is just a function of your chair and liaison responsibility.
Ray,
Yes,
so on
ma'am.
public safety, should I have him put also the ad hoc Harbor and Rec ad hoc committee to give a mini report that
I-
where we're at?
I think you
And
should.
also
do.
the date change?
I think you should, yeah.
Okay, so Vic, under public safety, 2 would be the
Wait,
Harbor Area Rec and public safety ad hoc.
wait, is this report or,
It's just a report.
okay,
There's no motions that need to be done, just to let them know basically that we changed the town hall date to the 27th also.
well, send me,
Just put report, Harbor Area Rec and Public Safety Ad Hoc Committee report.
all right, right, all right. Public,
Public Safety Ad Hoc Committee report. There you go.
okay. Now what was there a second thing I thought you mentioned?
No, that's it. Just, and that, in the report, I'll tell them that the dates changed to the 27th.
Okay,
That doesn't have to be approved by the board.
no, but we may want to,
It's just informational.
I can go in the minutes, I guess. I was gonna say, we may want to put it here too, but
Yeah,
it can go in the minutes, I guess, so we
Yeah.
don't have to put it on the agenda. Okay.
All right.
I think that's it.
I can't think of.
And I
anything.
just dumped a big project to Dan for issues committee with, because I'm too close for involvement. So I've given the mess on capital to issues committee.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, guys, if you don't mind, I'm gotta get ready for my next meeting.
Alrighty,
Okay.
Sounds good.
awesome.
Thank you all, and we'll
I
talk.
think this will be a pretty simple meeting this time.
Yeah, that's
No,
good.
don't say that.
No, okay, knock on wood, where's wood?
All right, guys, thank you so
All right.
much. Have a good, and stay cool, all of you. Well,
I-
I know Vic is, because he's way out in space, so,
Well, I wish I could say that, but we didn't have a full power outage here, but we had some up and down about 4 times within 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
now
I
my
had no
AC
internet on Saturday at all.
Now the fan is blowing, but the cooling is not happening. So I think a fuse or capacitor or something in the cooling unit on the roof got fried.
Uh-oh,
So
yeah. I
yeah,
had
it
no
may reset
internet.
if you give it long enough.
I
I've
had
had
no
that happen with
internet
our units.
Saturday, and so my
if you turn it
agenda
off
is-
and then back on again quickly, it won't always go right back up to full
Yeah.
operation, but it will. So yeah, I think I
that's-
experienced the same thing though. It was kind of a flicker, and I have a
yeah,
battery
and-
backup to
and-
kind of
and
protect
that
it.
just happened today. We've had
Yeah.
some of those in the past few days, but nothing that affected the AC. And
Yeah.
I called somebody about it, and they told me the same thing. Turn the breaker off for a few hours. Not just a
Did
few
you do
seconds.
that? Did you do
Well,
that?
it's in the process of those few hours.
Yeah, and
so-
reset it.
I'm gonna see if that does it, and I've scheduled an appointment for somebody to come out on Thursday. But
Yeah, all the spectrum went out Saturday, complete Wi-Fi, TV, all of that. It was out all day over here.
yeah, I've gotten Well,
I couldn't email my agenda to Christina or anything for budget and finance, so it went to her at midnight.
yeah, I heard, I've gotten text messages, notifications about that it has happened, but it hasn't gone full out here so far.
Yeah,
All
Anyway,
right, guys.
we should
All right.
probably stop the recording now.
okay.
Yeah.
Are we officially adjourned?
We're
Yep.
adjourned. Bye now. Take care.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye, guys.